So guys, it's that time of the week again, Premier League predictions. So guys, these are the games for the new Premier League game week with only 3 games remaining to play the season, to put the season to bed. Liverpool have already lifted the Premier League title. So here are my primary predictions for this week. The first game on Saturday 10th May will be Fulham versus Everton. Now this Fulham is fighting to finish in a European spot, that is 7th. Yeah, 7th will get you a European spot in the Conference League. Everton are struggling to get out of the bottom 10 or the other half of the table. So I'm going to give this advantage to Fulham because they will be playing at the Craven Cottage. I'm going to say 2-1 to Fulham. Ipswich against Brentford. Brentford are another team that are also fighting for that European spot. And remember, they beat Arsenal last weekend 2-1. They came back to beat Arsenal. Ipswich are already relegated, they are just here for the vibes. Now, I'll say Brentford will win this game 3-1. Southampton versus Manchester City. Manchester City is also struggling to get that Champions League spot. They might even go ahead and get that second spot if Arsenal fail to win their game. So Southampton are also another relegated team, and they are also trying to get out of that 11 points. Those are some of the worst points in a 38-match Premier League season. Now, Manchester City will be too much for Southampton, and you all know that. The likes of Omar Mamouche, Erling Haaland back in the team, Kevin De Bruyne playing at his best. What else can you say? 3-0 to Manchester City. Wolves versus Brighton. Brighton are also another team fighting for that European spot against the likes of Brentford, Fulham, and Bournemouth. Yeah, and Wolves are another electric team. They are also struggling to get out of that bottom half of the table and at least climb up to 10th spot. But Brighton have been shaky a little bit this season, especially in the business end of the season. They have been a little bit shaky. I'm going to go for a draw. This one will be a 2-2 draw with Mateus Cunha scoring. João Pedro also will get a goal. Danny Welbeck a goal. Yeah, and João Gomez for Wolves will get a goal. Now Bournemouth against Aston Villa. Now Bournemouth are fighting for a European spot, their first ever European spot. Aston Villa are struggling to get that Champions League spot yet again next season. This will be a classic game. This will be a classic. The Cherries will want to win this game to keep their hopes alive of ever qualifying for a European spot, and Aston Villa have to fight to keep that Champions League spot alive. Now, I want to go with a draw, but I think this will be a high-scoring game. Let me go with a 2-2 draw also. Now, on Sunday 11th May, the first game will be Newcastle against Chelsea. Chelsea are back from a weekend where they beat Liverpool in the Stamford Bridge and where they have already qualified for the Conference League final. Their opponents are yet to be confirmed. The games are still continuing. It's Real Betis or Fiorentina, I don't know. They are in extra time right now, and Real Betis are leading right now. They are on the top spot to face Chelsea in that Conference League final. I don't know. Newcastle are another electric team fighting for that Champions League spot. Chelsea also fighting for that Champions League spot. Now let me say this. Newcastle are really a hard team to beat at the St. James's Park. And I don't think Chelsea have that momentum to beat Newcastle, especially with Alexander Isak firing at all cylinders. I'm going to say this will be a 2-1 win to Newcastle. Manchester United are against West Ham. Manchester United are really terrible in the Premier League right now. And if West Ham beat them, they jump above them in the table. Manchester United, I think they will rotate this game because the players will be coming from. By the way, they destroyed, humbled, and embarrassed. Destroyed, humbled, and embarrassed Athletic Bilbao 4-1 in the second leg at Old Trafford. I think they will rotate the players because they will be tired and put in some youngsters to play a little bit. But I'm going to say, because it will be Old Trafford, let me give this a 2-1 win to Manchester United, just because they will be at Old Trafford. And West Ham are going to try this game, but Manchester United will end up winning it. Nottingham Forest against Leicester City. Leicester City have already been relegated from the Premier League, and Nottingham Forest are also fighting for that Champions League spot, with the likes of Chris Wood firing, the likes of Anthony Elanga running through those wings, Hudson Odoi doing everything in their power to get that Champions League yet again. I'm going to say Nottingham Forest will humble and embarrass Leicester City 3-1. Tottenham Hotspur against Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace are a hard team to beat in the Premier League. Tottenham Hotspur are currently 17th in the Premier League, the worst ever position in the Premier League. And they are also in that Europa League final against Manchester United. I don't know who will win. Maybe you tell me down below in the comments. Yeah, and I'm going to say Tottenham will win this because it's at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I'm going to say a narrow 1-0 win for Tottenham Hotspur. Now it's the big game of the weekend. Liverpool against Arsenal. Remember, Liverpool are just playing for the vibes because they have already secured the league. They're just trying to push that point tally, and they are back from a defeat to Chelsea at the Stamford Bridge. And Arsenal are trying to keep that Champions League spot in second. They have already been knocked out of the Champions League by PSG. Now they have nothing to play for. Another trophyless season for them. They are trying to keep that Champions League spot so that they may participate in the Champions League next season. This will be at Anfield, and I don't think Arsenal will be able to cope with Liverpool. I'm going to say this will be a 3-2 high-scoring match, 3-2 to Liverpool. And also Arsenal will give Liverpool a guard of honor for winning the Premier League. So let me know your predictions down below in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and follow. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.